Hey YouTube, how's everybody today? It's nice. So Anthony Fantano of the Needles Drop just made a track review for this band, this stoner metal band called Electric Wizard, and I don't know, like, I try to watch all of Anthony's videos, but I think sometimes my sub box screws me over and won't put his video in there, so I'll miss one by like 4 days and be like, oh, I hope Anthony's not mad at me, I missed a video, oh, what do I do? But anyway, Electric Wizard's like this pretty phenomenal, like, stoner metal, sludge metal, whatever metal kind of band, and a lot of people are talking about Sleep, so I thought I'd do an album review for Sleep's last album they did as a band before they broke up. Like, they did have a couple of releases after this, but they were just like post-mortem releases, stuff they recorded before the breakup. This is Sleep's Holy Mountain album, released on Earache Records in 1993. This album was originally released, just given to Earache Records. This is a demo, just as like, you know, here, check this out. And then Earache, I guess, was just so blown away with it that they just released it as is. So there's not a lot of production on here, pretty low budget production. Sleep pretty much recorded it themselves. But it's a pretty awesome album. It's pretty much the quintessential, like, one of the quintessential, like, stoner metal, doom metal kind of albums out there. It's actually got songs under an hour and stuff. But yeah, it's the last album they released as a band before they broke up. Before this, they had an album, this is their second album, they had an album called Volume 1, I think, or Volume 2. I don't really know what volume number it was. But they were a quartet back then, but then one of their members named Justin Marlar left to allegedly become a monk. So then they were just a trio when this was released. It's just the three of them there getting baked. These guys are big advocates for, like, you know, Black Sabbath riffs and pot smoking. Very big marijuana users here for sure. But yeah, just released as a demo to Earache, released it as is. So there's not a lot of production on here, but it still sounds pretty decent. Like, this is the kind of album, kind of music that the louder you play it, the more powerful it gets. Like, if you just hit a couple volumes up on this on your volume knob, just turn it up bit by bit, it gets deeper, sludgier, more powerful. The bass really comes through. A lot of low end, a lot of feedback, a lot of thick kind of Black Sabbath riffage. It's got a little bit of psychedelic. There's even a little bit of bluegrass on a couple tracks here, like homages to the bluegrass sound and shit. And it's got like some pretty cherry, some pretty sweet guitar and bass solos on here too. The vocals are pretty gruff but very intelligible. You can tell what he's singing about, and the lyrics are pretty hilarious. There's like songs about riding a red dragon to the planet Mars, lots of references to suns and planets and mountains and being a stoner. A lot of, like, you know, fantasy, mystical kind of references in there. The lyrics are pretty silly. I don't know. Do you want me to read you some of the lyrics? Let's see. Traveling toward the atomic sky, passing through the wall of light we fly. To the center of the sun we go, discovering secrets no one else known. Within the center of the galaxy, away from Earth and all its misery. Like, it's just songs about traveling through space, and just, I guess you're just, you know, being high and what being high is like, you know, songs about Atlantis, you know, druids and shit like that. Some religious references. But yeah, like I said, this is the last album they released as a band. They were on a European tour with the bands Trouble and the band Cathedral, and this record label called London Records signed them for a 6-figure deal if they released some albums with them. And Sleep took that money and they recorded the album Dope Smoker, which was just like a pretty much an hour-long just single track of just like the same kind of riffage and sludge metal, an hour long, and London Records got really pissed and said it was unmarketable, they were not going to release it. So I guess Sleep went back to the drawing board and recorded a 52-minute long song, so they trimmed it down by 8 minutes to 52 minutes, and it was called Jerusalem. Ugh. And yeah, that didn't get released either, so then they broke up. They were broke, they smoked all their money. London Records is pissed at them. I guess they were kind of pissed at each other, very frustrated, and London Records pretty much killed Sleep. This is the whole reason Sleep broke up. But Dope Smoker did get released eventually, I think just like in 2003. I picked it up, I think, when it came out, and it's a pretty awesome album. Like, I don't know what they thought was marketable about this in the first place. Like, if a band wants to release it in an hour-long track, like, let them if they're this great, but I don't know. Politics of the record business pretty much killed Sleep. It's kind of sad. Members of this band went on to form the bands High on Fire, the band Ohm's really good. High on Fire is pretty fucking heavy. But yeah, if you're into Sabbath and you're like really heavy grooves, like psychedelic stoner rock, if you want to get into the roots of stoner metal, totally check out Sleep. Got a lot of signature Black Sabbath sounds on here and shit. Very much so dedicated to the doom sound, dedicated to, like, you know, weed use, marijuana use. Yeah. They're formed in San Jose. It's a Northern California band. They were only together for just a handful of years, like 4 or 5. I'm not really sure how many. And that's all I can think of to talk about. So yeah, Sleep's second album, Sleep's Holy Mountain, 2003, Earache Records. Gives it a thumbs up.